We are live.
It's Tuesday. Yes, it says you are live. It's a Tuesday. You know what day it is. It's Show Me the Money Club Day. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific for the live. And then you can obviously watch the replay if you're not watching it live. But what is going on, everybody? We have a great show for you today. We have a guest coming on in just a little bit. Gary Middleton, you may know him, you may not. If you don't know him, you're definitely going to want to know after, especially with what he's going to be talking about very soon. He will be on in just a few minutes. After Gary's on, then we are going to go over quite a few different topics that we're going to be talking about. So we're going to be talking about the new Lyft CEO starting to clean house. They're looking at about a quarter of the workforce that is going to go bye-bye. So what is that going to mean for drivers? What does it mean for Lyft? We're going to be talking about that. Then we have the Lyft CEO. Is he already putting his stamp on with some special support agents? Sergio's text conversation that he had, pretty interesting conversation. And right off the bat, no, it was not a copy and paste bot. So we'll get that right out of the way first. But yeah, that's coming up. And then right after that, we're going to be talking about Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash, how hard they are campaigning against all of these proposed sponsored bills by legislators, whether it's in Chicago, Minneapolis, Vegas, quite a few different areas. They're doing that. And they just added New York, which will be the next topic that we're going to be talking about, which is New York State Attorney General. Moron is trying to cap surge. And then Uber sent out, Uber sent out the emails already on that, so we're going to be talking about that. And if you're in New York, you probably already got the email, but we're going to break it down. And we're also going to look at the proposed rule, which is, yeah, we'll get into that then. After that, then we got Uber drivers. Why are they rating their riders low? And we're definitely going to want to hear from you guys why you rate your passengers low. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to share ours as well. We're also going to be talking about rides with a W. What is Wridz? What are they? Who are they? Is it going to be a real competitor to Uber and Lyft? Well, we're going to be talking about them. And then we also have our famous professor, Len Sherman. He wrote a letter to the Wall Street Journal and to us as well, which we're going to go over when it comes to the gamification, and the age of wage discrimination and all of that good stuff with Uber, Lyft, and all these other companies. And then, of course, we got to end the show with some funnies. So we're going to be doing that. But that's our show's lineup. So we got quite a bit going on for you. So that's after. We'll do that later. But without further ado, let's bring on Gary. Gary's not feeling too well, so we wish him well. We do appreciate him coming on. Gary, how you doing?
Doing as best as I can. I'm trying not to cough in everybody's ears.
No, you're hanging there. We'll get you out of here as fast as we can, but we got a lot to discuss. Now, I've known Gary for quite a while, probably a year, right? And he's a one-man wrecking crew when it comes to apps. And he literally has wrote these apps all on his own. And basically what they do is they make the drivers' lives better. And quite frankly, I think I got the wrong background today. I should have put my cherry pick background today because they automatically cherry pick for you. So what better way than bring in Maximo and Gary Middleton from Middleton Technologies. So Gary, thank you for coming on. Much appreciated.
Everybody's always explaining my apps different than me because like Sergio said, he'll go with cherry pick. Somebody else will go with auto decline. And I always start out with safety. Like they just make you safer.
There you go. See that? Well, we all our minds are, function differently. Mine automatically goes to, hey man, show me the money.
That's exactly where I'm at. I'm like, what's going to show me the best amount of money in the shortest amount of time? Because that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So without further ado, let's have Gary talk about his apps. Now, he's got a latest app that I think is going to just fly, okay? Because I think it's fun, but we'll talk about that last. First, let's talk about Maximo, what it is, what it does. And, I personally think it's a great tool for newbies and veterans alike. Now that he said it, I think I agree with him. It makes driving safer with the trip radar, with all the bells and whistles and all the crap that's going on while you're driving. I agree with Gary. So go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, Maximo. It's one of my very first apps I created. It's back in the day, 2015, 2016. You was probably driving then as well. If you tried to do Uber and Lyft at the same time, there was so much going on with that screen back then. I mean, especially if you was a nighttime driver like me, that flashes and bells and whistles going off. It's just like, while you're trying to drive. So I created an app that will help automate based off your own personal preferences. You go in there, you set all your filters and things like that, and then it will accept, it'll decline, and then it'll automatically turn apps on and off for you, so you don't have to do this while you're driving. Especially places like LA, Chicago, New York City, Miami, traffic's already bad there, and so trying to mess with this phone when you only got 4 to 6 seconds during the request to look at the mileage, look at the pay, all this stuff, it's very unsafe. So Maximo does all that for you. Just go in there, you set up your parameters, and then it'll do everything for you.
Right. So this is for Uber and Lyft as well?
Uber, Lyft, and Grubhub and Uber Eats. If you're in Australia, New Zealand, it also has the Diddy, the Ola, the Zoomy, things like that.
Yeah, those are the equivalent of Asian Ubers.
Right, so, pretty much.
Yeah. But also, I'm sure we're going to get tons of questions. Let's get that out of the way as far as Android and iOS.
Yeah, it is Android only.
Okay.
iOS has a whole lot of restrictions, and you can do it on iOS. It just costs a lot of money and investors, and I'm a single guy, so I just don't want investors.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Allow side loading soon.
Yeah. We could be your agent.
Yeah, I mean, like I've messed around with a few iOS versions and things like that, but then we see what we've seen with other apps that do that, and the companies come in, they block them, and you spend more time trying to find workarounds than you actually do the actual coding, and helping drivers and things like that. So
you literally are a one-man crew, right?
Yeah, it's just me. I do all the programming, iOS, Android, all the server side stuff, all the customer support. If you talk to anybody about my apps, if you email me, you get me.
Right. So what to start with, FYI, there is a link in the show notes with his website information, and as far as how to sign up to Maximo. We'll go to the pricing at the end of his segment, but let's go to the next app, unless you have something to add to Maximo.
Now, well, there's a lot of features in Maximo that a lot of people don't understand. Chris has some screenshots here. You can actually take a screenshot. Maximo can automatically take a screenshot of all your Uber, Lyft, and Grubhub offers that come into your device, so that way you can reference them later. I know a lot of drivers said, wait, this popped up for one amount, but I got paid this amount. And so you can actually have Maximo automatically screenshot that for you. It also has, tracks all your request history. So when something comes in, it'll tell you, the offer, the distance, pickup time, drop off times, your per minute, your per hour rate. And also, if Maximo accepted it or declined it or didn't, it'll tell you the reason why there. And then, of course, your complete trip data for the day. It'll show you how many Ubers you took, how many Lyfts you took, things like that, your estimated deductions for your mileage and things like that. One cool event here, though, is the events section that you see on the left there. That pulls all the events within 50 miles of where you're at. So you can go into the app, you can go to the event section, and it'll actually show you all the events around you. So I know rideshare drivers, this is big for us because surge happens around these events.
Yep.
And so this will show you all the events within a 50-mile radius of your current location. So if you go, say you go from San Diego down to LA, it can pull up the LA data for you as well. And then, of course, in the middle screenshot there, that's your general filter screen. That's how you get in there and you set up all your filters for these apps, your auto accept, your auto decline. And all of these are based off your own personal preferences. Very few two drivers will have the same. And so you just go in there, you set it up however you want it. You can use auto accept. You don't have to use auto accept. You can use auto decline. You don't have to use auto decline. And then Maximo will do everything based off your own personal preferences. And this goes for each individual service there is. So you can set up an Uber X filter, and then you can set up an Uber XL filter and Uber Premier filter. And there's just so many filters on there. It would take me hours to talk about all the filters we have.
Yeah. So, but what basically though, it applies to within a platform, it applies to pretty much all the levels of the platform, from Uber X to XL,
Right.
to Premier. And how about Lyft? Does Lyft,
Yep.
Lyft Standard and Lyft Lux and Lyft Lux Black?
Yep.
And all that?
Lyft filters are the same way. You still got all your different services. You go in there and set up each individual one. Of course, Grubhub is a little bit different because they don't have different stuff, but Grubhub also has filters for it as well. Each different app will have filters for everything. And here's some on-screen screenshots where you actually get the Uber and Lyft request. You see that you don't have to do any calculations in your head. Maximo shows you right on the screen the total distance at the top, the per mile rate, your per minute rate, and then your per hour rate. So everything's right there. There's no guessing to it. You don't have to sit there and look at the bottom and all that. You can look at the price. Well, first off, if you have your filter set up correctly, it's over your price if it didn't get declined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the important thing is, that little window that it does all the calculations for you. As as we all know, obviously, on the Uber pink screen, it lasts about 10 seconds. And Lyft is about 12 to 15 seconds. That's really not enough time, especially while you're driving, if you get another request, unless you have new requests turned off. But this will help you actually to connect with a trip that is fitting to your filters, personal filters, one after the other one, as opposed to, we recommend that people drive with no new requests on, not to get bombarded with trip radar because it's unsafe and new trips anyway. But this actually gets rid of all that issue. That little window that it pops up, obviously it shows up with everybody's own personal filters, personal numbers, right? So you can set it to whatever you want. And then
that window that you're seeing there is actually just a breakdown of everything that's on the screen there.
Okay.
So like if you're looking at the Lyft one, that's 25.2 miles total. That's to pick up and to drop off all together. Okay. And so you don't have to look and say, okay, well, total trip miles. You don't have to add that together. It does all that for you, and I know a lot of people, they like the per minute. Some like the per hour. I like the per minute because I know anything over 33 cents per minute, I'm making 20 plus an hour.
Yep.
But, again, I color coded all so what's a good one, like 37 cents a mile, 68 cents a mile. Those to me are terrible runs because they're less than my $1 a mile that I want.
Yeah.
And so it marks as a red. So I know right off the bat that, hey, this isn't a good run.
So the filters on these, those three filters, per mile, per minute, and per hour, obviously for each city is different. Each driver is different. Their requirements are different. You can set these, and then it will only accept trips according to your parameters, right?
Well, it can accept or decline. There's two different filter settings. So you can set it to either auto accept it for you, or you can set it to auto decline everything else. It's really just how you want to set it up. Some people use them in conjunction with each other. I personally don't use auto accept whenever I'm multi-apping.
Yeah.
But I do use the auto decline, so that way I know that when something pops up, if it's not declined, I know it passed my filters automatically right then.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
and then you mentioned something about the trip radar.
Yeah.
There's another feature in there with Maximo. You can actually go in there and have it automatically close the trip radar screen for you, so that way it doesn't keep popping up on you.
Yeah.
Just Maximo will automatically close it.
I think that's the most important thing, to be honest with you. Veterans can do the math in their head, but for people who cannot, obviously, it's a great tool to have. But the trip radar thing, even for a veteran like me, I have to click the X button to get rid of the screen because it's blocking my screen. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what a nuisance. I mean, that's the most unsafest thing these people have brought
Yeah,
upon us.
it literally reminds me of back in 2015 when they used to flash the screen at me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that, and I wrote an article about it. I called it whack-a-mole. It's like I'm driving, bro. Just stop sending me this stuff, right? But I think that's a great addition. I don't, how long has it been there? The trip radar thing.
The auto close trip radar. It's been there, I don't know, 3-4 months.
Yeah, I think it's an amazing addition, bro. Yeah. I think it's just absolutely makes all of this worthwhile. Besides, obviously, making you more profitable and efficient. So, anything more on Maximo?
No, I mean, go check it out. There's so much on it to it. Go back one screen, Chris, would you? Okay, this right here, a lot of people is the driver's utility helper app, or known as DUH in the community. It only works for DoorDash, but it can sync to Maximo as well, and so you can use them in conjunction with each other. And this is basically Maximo, but just for DoorDash drivers.
Okay.
Since DoorDash is not an on-demand platform, you can't just go online and offline anytime you want unless you're a top dasher. You actually have to schedule. And so that's why it's a separate app. And it has, a lot of stuff in it as well. You get your auto accept, your auto decline, so much stuff. You can block red card orders, shop and delivers, add-ons, things like that. It's going to have a lot of the similar features to Maximo.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, a little bit different, just because DoorDash is a little bit different than RideShare.
Yeah, obviously. But so this is the second app we're talking about now. First one is Maximo, which is obviously, please go visit his website, MiddletonTechnologies.com. The next one is called DA, and people, in the industry, we call it DA. It's called Driver Utility Helper. If you're only driving for DoorDash, obviously this one is for you. But it has a lot more information than Gary's putting out. Actually, it's like it has a lot of information.
It's so hard to tell everybody everything that's in these apps, because there's just so much to them, because I've been building them. Maximo has been around since 2016. You can imagine how much stuff I've stacked on top and changed over the years. Driver's utility helpers have been around since 2019, 2020. And so over the course of 2-3 years, I've added a lot of stuff to that too. And I change my apps depending on what the app companies do as well, because I want features that are going to make drivers safer and more efficient. And so that's what, I do. One of the biggest things right now is, the diamond tier top dasher stuff, and so that's why now DUH can actually show you, on this request here, if I was to accept that low ball request, I wouldn't, but if I was, then my acceptance rate would go up to 43%. And then of course on the left-hand side there, you see the calendar days, all the days I've worked, the earnings, completed orders for the month, declined orders for the month. And so you can, say if you're only a part-timer and you want to make sure you get your 100 deliveries in a month, you can go to the calendar screen and be like, okay, I got 96, so I need to complete 4 more before the end of the month.
This is such another great tool. I mean, I do DoorDash here and there, but I mean, all the bells and whistles we're not going to talk about, obviously. But again, it gives you the parameters, right, on that little window that you set up. So you just have to look at that screen. Although, Uber Eats and DoorDash ping request screens are a lot longer than RideShare. But to have a complete view of where you are day to day, week to week, month to month, this is an amazing tool for me. I mean, it really is no brainer. And as far as this being on Android or iOS, what are we talking about here?
And Android as well. Almost any of these types of apps, unless you're going to reverse engineer the apps for iOS or the platforms, it's going to be on Android for me. I'm just not that big of a company.
No, I get it. I get you. And then anything else you want to add to your driver utility helper?
No, it's by the way, with DUH, you don't have to click decline 7 times to decline an order. It can do it once. It can do it. You click the decline button once, and it does everything else for you.
Yeah, that's a plus. I mean, we know how maddening that is, right? I mean, Uber Eats actually made that easier by clicking the X once.
Right.
But then, DoorDash supposedly has to go through a bunch of hoops. Why are you declining doing this and that?
Yeah, at least 2 or 3.
Yeah, well, still. The other thing about DoorDash is that, like Gary said, only top dashers can dash whenever they want. And then in order for them to do that, look, a lot of people, as you know, Gary, they call it Hell Week. I don't know what,
Right.
if it applies, but you can watch your acceptance screen actually, on that little screen where it says 43%. You can watch it zoom up the last week while you're taking all the cash orders to make top dasher. So there's another tool for that right there.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but cool. So this is number 2. So Gary's busy. Okay, so Gary writes software nonstop. It looks like, and this is not easy, people. He's a one-man crew. I keep saying that. I'm amazed that he's doing it. So there's Hell Week right there. Now,
yeah, speaking of Hell Week, we actually have a Hell Week war this week on the Gig Wars app.
yeah, but so this I think is going to blow up. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this Gig War app. Because look, we all are drivers, but we all have a competitive streak in us, right? So every time I talk about this, somebody will always come out and say, "Oh, that's nothing. That's garbage. You didn't make any money. Look at my earnings," and all that stuff, right? And this basically can create a friendly, competitive kind of, well, I'm not going to say friendly, but competitive kind of environment that you can compare your earnings from one city to the next one to the next one. And would you call this like a game app, or is it what do you
Yeah, I consider it a game. I mean, that's what I consider it, because it's all about fun. I mean, you're competitive, you're having fun. It's not something that's required. It doesn't help you. Well, I say it doesn't help you earn more, but it kind of does, because you're competitive and you don't want to lose. So you might go out and work a little bit longer than you normally would just so you could win. So you do make more money.
Yeah.
Like the first weekend that I did this, we did a beta mode with all the Gig Wars team. There's 4 of us on the Gig Wars team. And shout out to them. They're a great bunch of people that, we all help out. And so, but I worked a little bit harder than I normally would just so I would win the war. Because I don't want to lose our first war.
Yeah, I mean, hey, but this is also, the pride comes into play more than money, right? I mean, especially if you're in the same city, right?
Right. And that's something that we did add in here. We did add personal profiles. So, when we first released it, we didn't have a whole lot. It was just, hey, go do this war, enter your income that you made for the day, et cetera, et cetera. But then we found over time, people was like, well, what market are they in? What state are they in? Things like that. So then we went back and we added, what type of car do they drive, whether they drive a van, because some of our guys that do these wars, they drive vans. And so, of course, they get the bigger orders. Yeah, they're always going to win. They got the big old vans.
Yeah.
And then we added states and what platforms people work, things like that. And so it's a great app. Like I said, it's fun. You can do a war, but then you can also hang out on the YouTube channel over at the Gig Wars official YouTube channel. You can get on stream, you can trash talk, and your day just goes by so much quicker because you're conversating with people, know?
Well, I mean, the thing that I love about this is that, look, it creates a community, right? I mean, it brings a little bit of the competitive side of everybody, which everybody has, by the way, I mean, unless you're like a super duper Formica, you don't have any competitive juices going, I mean, come on now. Which one of us doesn't want to compete with the guy next door and say, hey, I'm the boss this week and you're the boss next week? I think
it's definitely bragging rights. It's definitely bragging rights.
Absolutely. And the other thing is just, besides the bragging rights, man, food delivery is like a lonely business, right? I mean, rideshare, at least you're talking to some passengers or whatever. In food delivery, it's like it becomes really routine. It becomes like mundane, right? Well, this takes that out of it, and it makes it like more fun. Then now you're more engaged. You know what I mean? So is this still in beta format, or is
this is actually rolled out on both iOS and Android. So if you go to the App Store, just search Gig Wars, you'll find it there. You go to Android Play Store, you search Gig Wars, you'll find it there. So this is actually for both Android and iOS. Okay. There's a free version. We will have a premium version to this as well, but most of the stuff that you can do as far as joining a war, starting a war, things like that, it is free. We of course do show ads. You know, I got to get paid for my time creating this stuff.
Oh, of course.
You know, the other ladies that help out, Red and Lady Enigma, and them. You know, we put a lot of work into this. So, but yeah, it's just something really fun to do, I think.
Yeah, I think this is going to blow up, and this will bring more eyeballs to Middleton Technologies. There was a couple of comments which I cannot go away from, which, you know, look, we lay it out the way it is on Show Me the Money, right? Obviously, there are competitors. I'm not going to consider Gridwise a competitor. I'm not going to consider Solo a competitor of you.
No, those do something completely different than my apps do.
But we do know who the competitors are, right? So if I were to tell you, you know, I don't want to put you on a tough spot, but, you know, I always do when the guests show up. You know, why should I download Maximo over Para, let's say, right? Or why should I download over Mistral? Mistral, I don't think is not even close to yours. And I personally have, and I haven't downloaded this last one, by the way, which I'm going to do right after we get off. But it's like, you know, everybody has their own choice, and pretty much yours does whatever a driver needs.
I will tell you that my apps have the most filters of any competitor out there, and I'll bank on that because nobody comes close to how many features are in my apps. To where other people have revamped their apps over the years. You know, I haven't. I talk to drivers every day. In fact, any driver that knows me, they personally can get a hold of me. You don't have to email me. You can message me on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. You get me directly. It's not like you're getting some employee of mine that, you know, might tell you or might tell the engineering team what needs to be done. No, you get me directly. Yeah. And so everything in my apps came from a driver saying, "Hey, I need this." And I'm like, okay.
Feedback. Yeah, direct feedback is the most valuable one. There's no doubt about that. And so in the last couple of minutes we have, so tell me a little bit about the costs of these things. Tell me where people can go download it. Obviously, we'll have Gary on because we approve the product. Otherwise, we wouldn't have him on. Number one. Number two, we want more eyeballs, because if there were 100 Garys in this country, I think we can take these companies down, honest to God.
If I had 100 of me, we could take down Uber for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
And it could be on iOS.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, it's because if we have 100 Garys, we're good. We'll be rolling. But that's maybe
so. Yeah,
you never know.
As far as pricing goes, they're pretty cheap. Maximo is only $4.99 a month. I mean, comes out to what, cents per day.
That's nothing.
Yeah, that's nothing really. DUH, driver's utility helper, is $9.99 a month. There is a free version of that as well. So you get half of the app for free, and then you pay for the other part of the app, which is all the auto decline, history tracking, things like that. Which comes out to, I don't know, I think it's like 33 cents a day or something like that. Still something super manageable by any driver. I mean, whenever you take into server cost what these apps take to run, you're like, wow, that's pretty dirt cheap.
No, I know it's very dirt cheap. I mean, I actually talked about you with this. $4.99 seems very cheap, but you know, that's not the issue. The other thing is, you know, and more kudos for Gary, number one, for being a one-man team. But there's this new trend now that with all these Uber and Lyft, these CEOs are doing these fake PR things, getting in their cars and drive. Trust me, Gary is a driver. Gary is experiencing this on his own, and he's fixing the app when he goes home. They're like, "Oh, this didn't work. That didn't work."
I know a lot of people don't get that. I actually drive during the daytime. I drive every day. Yeah. You know, it's not like I'm just sitting behind my computer programming all day. So no, I actually drive every day. I use these features every day. I'm typically in RideShare Lisa's Discord channel, talking to her and other drivers, and we chatted up all day. Or I'm on the live stream with Red and them on the Gig Wars channel. You know, so it's great. I think to have a good product, you have to use your own product. You can't just do PR stunts.
Yep, you got to absolutely use your own product to figure it out. And one question, and then I'm going to let you go. There is Robert Haneke says, do these work for Uber Black and Lyft Lux?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They have filters for, if you don't see, I'll say this up front, because some markets have different filters or services than other markets. If you don't see a service in there, you can always email me, support@middletontech.com. Send me a screenshot of the request, and I can have it added on the next update.
Yeah, so for all the viewers now watching live and later by the thousands, I highly recommend it. Maximo driver utility and the new gaming app, which is, I think it's amazing. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna make 100 people download it in LA. We're gonna have a pissing race. That's all
you
we're
know
gonna
what? I think that's the real gamification of
do.
Uber
Yeah,
and Lyft. Well,
yeah,
all the apps actually,
yeah.
since it
But
supports
you
all
know,
of them.
Gary, if there is anything else you want to add, you got the floor. I'll give you the last minute. And
Nah, thanks for having me, guys. I'm glad I didn't cough in all your ears, and hopefully I get better soon.
now take care of yourself, but we'll
Yeah, hopefully
definitely
you
be
feel
in
better.
touch. His info in the show notes. Please go visit the website, take a look around. You know, try it out. I have it. I think it's great. I think it's definitely worth the $4.99. Which, you know, 2 packs of gum is $4.99 these days.
Right.
So figure it out, people. So anyway, but thanks for coming on, bud. We'll be in touch and wish you the best. And you know, keep up the good work.
All right, thanks, guys. See you around.
Thank you, man.
Right. Have a good one. All right. Well, yes, if you want more information on Gary's apps, check the link in the description below. It's like third down, so you can't miss it. But either way, yeah, I think Gig Wars would be fun. You know, it's something like Fast and the Furious style. So that's what it reminds me of when it's Gig Wars. You got Race Wars for all those Fast and Furious 1 watchers from back in the day. But yeah, it'd be fun.
You know, the other thing is you can't fake it, right? Just drawing info from the app, so you can't just go edit the information saying that I made more money than you. So it's like,
yeah,
so
right.
You know, you can't fake that stuff. You know how all these screenshots we get, Chris? You know, half of it we don't believe because it's all Photoshop, whatever. I go, that's not good. So, but anyway, but no, this one is a cool game.
Yeah, there's quite a few of those that are photoshopped and catching some people off guard. So we make sure when we see those, we really take a look at them with the fine-tooth comb.
Yeah. All
right. So what do you want to lead off with? Do you want to go with the award, or do you want to go and give away some money?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so going forward for each episode, we're gonna give back to the community some more because we've been supported so nicely by all of you. So we're gonna do each show. We're gonna do 2 giveaways of $25 gift certificates, free, people. And now that Chris knows how to use the StreamYard, the lottery, whatever. So what should we do on the first one? Let's give let's give people time through our first topic. Let's give him time to type the code. So what hashtag? What should we do?
Oh, hold on. It's 25, correct?
$25. Yeah.
For the first one, we are going to enter. Hold on, I'm just typing it in now.
Yeah.
Boom.
There you go.
Hashtag money. Hashtag
all lowercase,
money.
Please. All lowercase. Hashtag money. You can't mess that up. If you mess that up, disappear.
Yeah, if you mess that up, you ant. But with that being said, yes, we're gonna kind of do a couple of things between. Then we will come back to this when it comes down to that. So
we're gonna have one more, and we're gonna have one more towards the end of the show, so you guys know.
Yes, and another way that you can win money.
Yes.
Is the Show Me the Extra Mile Sunshine Award. We're giving away number 2. Number 2 is coming up because guess what? It's April 25th. You know what that means? End of the month is this week, and next week is what, May 2nd, I believe it is, or something. Yeah, May 2nd is the show. So next week, I don't know if we're gonna have the winner announced for April yet, only because that's a pretty quick turnaround. But in any event, if it's not on the 2nd, it will be the following week on the 9th, where we're going to be doing that. And essentially, if you don't know what the Show Me the Extra Sunshine or Extra Mile Sunshine Award is, it's for you drivers who have gone above and beyond during the month. Share your story with what had happened. Share some screenshots to show what happened. If you have dash cam footage, you can send that as well. But send it to Sergio at sergio@therideshareguy.com. We don't judge it. We look at them. We see what they are. And then we pass it along to the Sunshine Man, which is Jeff, our favorite 99%er of acceptance rate when it comes to our drivers. So Yes, he is the one who actually goes through and judges them. But it's one of those things where, we want to kind of focus on some of the good stuff when it comes down to it, instead of a lot of the negatives. So for you who have gone above and beyond during the time that you are driving, make sure you submit that to Sergio, because we are going to be wrapping up April's this week.
Yes, I'm quite disappointed actually, Chris,
Why?
because okay, I only got 3 for April.
What?
Yeah, 3.
What is wrong with you people? Start getting a little nicer out there.
$100. So
I know.
okay, last month we had 7. Last month we had 7. This month we have 3. So wake up, people! It's $100. It's a paying it forward story. I'm gonna do an article on you, and I'm gonna interview you and put you on our channel. I mean, plus $100. I mean, come on now, right? But the stories we have this month is pretty good. I mean, Sunshine Man has it already, so he's like, he's back from vacation, meeting the other Jeff, which we have we have a picture, but
we'll see that in a little bit. But
so
either way,
you
got a couple of days left to submit them. So
by Friday, I gotta have it. Okay, please. Yep. Caro T818.
Caro, appreciate the super
Caro,
chat.
He's Armenian, maybe. I don't know. Caro, are you Armenian, buddy? Are you? If you are, I did not see you yesterday at the April 24th Armenian Genocide March, but maybe next year we'll hook up. If you're in LA, we'll do that. Yesterday was the Armenian Genocide March in LA. So, long story short, yes, he's Armenian. Are you in LA? So shoot me an email if you are. Sergio@RideShareGuy.com. Okay. Yeah, please send me these things, man. It's like, 3 is enough. Don't get me wrong, Chris, but we need competition.
Yeah. And we want to support those paying it forward and making it better. But let's talk about, could some things be getting better right now? And that is Lyft's new CEO is coming into town, and we know that this was going to happen. We knew that there was going to be layoffs. It's just the way it is. But to come in and cut around 25% of staff.
Ouch.
My question, though, is who are they going to cut when it comes down to it? Are you cutting the engineers, or are you going to be cutting the driver support team?
Well, a few months ago, they cut 800 and they closed all the hubs. The driver support, in-app support went to chat support. I call it chit support, whatever. So now they were down to 4,000. Now they're going down to 2,800, bro.
No.
Now
here's the thing, though.
If
you look at the article, it says Lyft to cut at least 12,000. So that's a minimum. They could be laying off 13, 14, 1,500. I mean, they could be laying off a lot more than just the 1,200, depending on what's going on, what they're doing to shake things up a little bit on the inside.
He's taking the Elon Musk approach here.
Yeah. No, you know what though? Here's my question: is Lyft 10 times smaller than Uber?
No.
So actually, then why does Uber?
You brought that up to me. I looked.
Yeah, but why does Uber have 10 times the amount of employees? Does that just mean that there's a ton of fat? Hey, Uber, if you're watching this, you may want to trim like 50% of your employees, because you could probably have a very profitable company at that point.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Their earnings are coming up May 3rd, by the way. Uber's is, and Lyft is May 5th. Next quarter is up. That's
next week, yeah.
I have a very sneaky suspicion that there's going to be some Uber layoffs on this coming up, because I think the quarter is going to disappoint. And then the cost cutting will start. So again, don't take that as stock advice or investment advice. It's my opinion only. So Lyft is cutting 4,000 from 4,000, 30% more. They're going to go maybe more, like Chris said, more than 1,200. It's going to go down to like 2,800 people. Now, the guy is delivering exactly what he said. He said, I have learned to do a lot with a lot less at my, at his nonprofit, which he was running before this. So he's keeping true to his word, but this sends me a clear signal. Okay, now I totally do believe that he's going to make this a mean, lean fighting machine and then up for sale by the end of the year, or maybe early 2024, because this is a massive cut. I mean, this is not a joke. And we're definitely talking now coders, because the first 800 that took off went away when the cleanup started under Zimmer and Green. That was mostly support staff, this and that, right? This cannot be anything but high-end coders, or maybe, these are not interns that they're cutting here, okay? So we're going to find out how Lyft is going to operate, with less people. I mean, I think he's doing the right thing. Sorry for all the people who are going to get fired, or,
well, they can always sign up for the app. or sign up for Uber.
Damn right.
But
baby.
no, honestly, I mean, the question though is, how will this affect drivers on the short term and in the long term?
Okay.
So for personally, if it's coders, depending on what they're coding, a lot of the times what they're doing is they're running tests. We've talked to some former Uber employees, what they're doing when it comes down to it, when they were coding, and they were running tests and different stuff. So the question is, are they going to eliminate that? I think so. You should probably just have something that's, congruent in one. And then that way you don't have to have all of these extra employees. So that helps cut down right there. So maybe the app will actually work better. Time will tell with that though. Will the app actually work better? Because you don't have all of these multiple versions. How many times do you update your computer and then something screws up on it because you get in this ghost code that's creating an issue with the new update and things along that nature. So over time, I think this is just going to be something that's going to help, because the app won't have all of these different diversions coming together in the same app. So I think that's going to probably be good. But when it comes to the long term, that's where you could see, are they going to start cutting more and then going to a skeleton crew where there's going to be less changes?
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. I think the guy clearly stated that we're going to do one thing and we're going to do it really, really well. And he figured, I don't need 4,000 people to do one thing really, really well. Okay. And he's delivering, man. I mean, look, he's delivering. I mean, this is like 2 days off after he got the job. He sat in the chair. I'm like, boom, see you later. I'm like, okay. So to me, I think he's doing the right thing.
Now, the last question I have when it comes to this, when it comes to your thoughts, is this going to be for the long-term viability of Lyft to remain intact as a company? Or do you think that this is the beginning of the piecemeal to try to salvage it for a sale or something along that nature?
Yeah,
or a merger?
I definitely think they're going to this move and maybe more, as you said. This definitely signals we're going to be lean, mean fighting machine that we can stand on our own 2 feet, or for any interested party, look what we have. We have a functioning, market share gaining business again. And, they may be open for offers as well. So I think I cannot agree more with what he did. He figured out that it's a taxi cab with an app. He goes, we don't need 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people to run this. We're just going to run it mean, lean. Everybody's going to learn how to deal with it. Plus, as you know, Lyft was going to try to dabble into deliveries and things like that. I bet you some of those people, all those departments are going to get cleaned up. So I think this is the right track. And I wish you could come on and talk to us about it.
Yes, Mr. Risher, come on. Before we get into our next topic, we're going to do our giveaway. We have 30 entries, so make sure you hit #money, type it into the chat if you want your chance to win $25. So make sure you do that in the chat right now. We are just going to wrap that part up and then do our giveaway. So those last minute entries, you got like 30 seconds to go or something like that.
Let's go.
But either way, it's going to be interesting to see. My other question now that while we were talking, when you said stand on your own 2 feet, I think that could be, did he come in and pick up the tree that was dying and plant it into the sun? Or what? Or is the tree still, is the Uber tree still outgrowing?
Well, no, I don't know about that. Time will tell on that one. But I really, really honestly think this, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, last week as well. This is such a simple thing. I mean, think about this, Chris. It's pick up point A of a human and delivery of a human to pick up point B, or pick up of point A of a bag of food that's sealed, dropping off to B.
Yep.
All GPS connected. I mean, we don't need these many people to do this. The app is the app. How much can you improve on that? I think this is what all Ubers should do, and DoorDash as well. But we're gonna find out on that when the earnings come out. No, I think he's doing the right thing. And
on top of that, look at Maximo and the app, and now RideShare Wars. You have one person coding that, Gary, and
think about it. and playing support and playing, updating the app. I mean, if Gary is not the model of what apps should be, then I don't know what. Mr. Richard, if you're watching, I mean, you can hire Gary if you like, because he's the one-man wrecking crew. He can probably replace 400 of your coders right there. So.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's give away that money right now. So we are giving away $25 right now. We have hashtag money. You are, if you're in the chat and trying to get it in, too bad, so sad. We have 36 entries, and let's see who is the winner.
I got my pen this time. I'm not missing it. Ooh.
HBCU Band Talk. Congratulations. You are today's winner. Hashtag money.
Coming your way. Please email me, Sergio@therideshareguy.com, and we will send it to you immediately. Well, tomorrow. Yep. Not immediately.
So congratulations.
Yes, sir. HBCU Band Talk, and $25 is yours. So should we do the next one now so people can enter all the way to the end of the show, or maybe later? Should we do it?
We'll do it later. Yeah, because we got a lot going on, so we'll get that later when it's a little bit more. So stay tuned. We got $25 more to give away to some lucky winner. But in between that time, we're going to continue on with Lyft because, well, they're the ones who are making some news right now when it comes down to it, and that is, Lyft CEO is saying that the driver experience is the top priority when it comes to it. So this is something that I'm happy to see, and I hope to see this. But we also did see, if you were around in 2017, I think it was 2017, the year of change, basically when Dara came in, and he took that whole little thing over, and then it was the 180 days of change, the year of change, and it was adding and changing all of these little things. So it really didn't do too much, but it did at the same time. But yeah, that was one thing. So let's see what happens when Risher comes around and what he's going to do. Go ahead, Sergio.
Yeah, I mean, I think this connects actually to the next screenshots we're going to show, because he said this already. No need to repeat. But one paragraph that's important here, it goes, we know riders want to be picked up on time. They want to pay a fair price. Risher said, we know that drivers want a good driving experience, right? And I agree with him. There's a lot to fix, and I'm sure he will fix. I am not too hopeful about driver earnings going up, but as long as consistency happens, as opposed to cut and cut and cut and cut, and hopefully he will not go that route. But one thing that I personally would like to see change, and there are many things, but is this support situation. Chris, my computer is getting full with screenshots of the back and forth between poor drivers trying to chase their poor cancellation earnings, or streak bonuses that Lyft is declining, or a trip is going longer and they're not getting adjusted. I mean, some of this back and forth is maddening. Like, I read it and I get a headache. And I have files and files and files of full files now. So that needs to change, Mr. Risher. Please, seriously. The good old switcheroo that we have that's happening with trips, even it's happening now on support. One agent goes, oh, give me 2 minutes, I'll be right back. A new guy comes in, or gal, if they're not bots, and then you have to start all over again. It's maddening. So yeah, to me, it's like that needs to change. That definitely need to change. And so in that sense, I'm driving the other day. I get this, we talk quite a bit about scams and stuff like that, right? But people need to get a text message from somebody saying, oh, hey, how's it going? Congratulations. Give me your information so I can send you some money or whatever. So I get this text message on my phone. It starts with this. He goes,
Hey,
"Hey, it's Sam
Sam.
from Lyft again." Oh, you want to do this voiceover thing or what?
Oh, if you want.
No,
Hey, it's
this
Sam
was a
from
nice
Lyft
guy.
again. I wanted to check in after your first week back. How are you feeling so far?
So I go question mark, because I'm thinking this is like bullshit of bullshits. I'm about to get scammed, right? And because the guy says, check in after your first week back. I've been driving for Lyft every time they showed me the money. It wasn't my first week back. Like past few weeks, they gave me guarantees. I did all those. So I'm going, this guy's a scammer. It's like, nah, I'm not even going to go into it. But out of curiosity, I put two question marks and sent it back to him.
Hi, Sergio. Sorry for the confusion. The app automatically sends some messages when you go more than a month without driving.
Okay, still not valid, but let's say it is. So then I go back to Sam, quote unquote. I go, interesting. Why do you think I didn't drive for a month? So I'm thinking like, I'm not going to give him any info. I'm just going to mess with him, In fact, while I was doing this, I was at the DMV trying to pay my registration fee. And because they sent me one that Uber's AI did not accept when I uploaded it, I go, God damn, I need a copy. So I'm there waiting. California DMV is horrible. So please, people, set an appointment if you're going to go anyway. Interesting. I go, why do I think I didn't drive for a month? This must be a new thing. Never gotten this message before from Lyft in 6 years I've been on the platform.
I checked your account and I see that you didn't drive in March. This is a new program. I can help with things like updating your vehicle documents, understanding the driver app, how to maximize your time on the road. By the way, do you already receive your Lyft emblems? These can help riders recognize you easier.
Yeah. So I'm going like, all right, let's see where this is going. I go, so of course, I go on the attack. I go, Sam, if you're not a bot, of course, why do you think I drive sporadically on the Lyft platform? Been with Lyft for 6 years. I think I'm good with everything else. I like this new program. Keeping in touch with veterans. Are you based, I missed the S there, in the US?
I'm a real human, Sergio. I'm here for you from Monday to Friday during business hours. Well, could be a lot of things. Please let me know why you drive sporadically. Yes, we're based in Nashville, Tennessee.
So I'm
Yeehaw.
going like, all right, now we got to lay down the law. So I repeat the first, I go, this is great. I'm in touch with a human in the US as opposed to a cut and paste bot, as all my Lyft support experiences have been horrible and continue to get worse since Lyft moved to in-app chat support only. We know platinum drivers like Jeff can call, but most of our peons, like me, are in-app chat support. So why do I drive sporadically? Well, because I run this gig as a small business and driver earnings have been declining over the past 6 years. I'm going to bet that I've been with Lyft longer than you. After expenses, drivers make less than minimum wage in most cities. That's the reason. I drive for whoever shows me the money. Lyft definitely is not showing me the money, but when they do, and I can be profitable, I'll drive for Lyft. Uber shows me the money more often, and I'm driving for them the majority of the time.
I'm very happy that you feel that way in this interaction. We want our drivers to feel accompanied. Thank you for being honest. I'm sorry to hear that your experience hasn't been that good. We always want to hear your opinions. I completely get you, Sergio. I really do. What you say is very understandable. Please feel free to make the best decision for you here at Lyft. You always have the doors open.
So I'm going like, now I'm like, I don't even know where this is going. Like, we're creating a relationship here. And then, I go, so I promised this guy or a bot, maybe you guys think it's a bot. I don't think it's a bot because later on you guys will figure it out. I said, for your information, this is going up on my weekly live stream on YouTube in a very complimentary fashion. Here's the link. We run the largest blog and YouTube channel when it comes to the gig economy. In fact, we have an interview lined up with your new CEO. I gave up a little hint there. It's not going to be us, but it's going to happen. I also thank you for your honesty. I know you're not allowed to say much more than you did. So I put up our YouTube channel, and then he comes back.
That's pretty cool, Sergio. I'll take a look. Remember, I'll be here for you if you need further assistance. We're just a text away.
So I'm going like, this is unbelievable. Like, this is a change. I mean, why? Now I'm kind of crediting David Risher with this. Maybe he hired some outside company to, I don't know. I mean, this was out of the blue, and then, like, I was like amazed, and I was very pleased. So I know you're dealing probably with hundreds of drivers all the same time, but this is something. If this is something the new CEO pushed for, I think it's amazing. I never felt I had a friend at Lyft, especially regarding driver support. Next time I text back at this number, will it be you or just like the regular support? I will get switched around and have to tell my story all over again, because that's what we're used to, having chat closed and new agent comes and the driver wastes hours explaining themselves all over again. But let me not push my luck. This has been great, much appreciated.
Always will be me, Sam, your friend from Lyft. This channel is very different from support. That's why there could also be things that I couldn't help with, like payments, cancel fee. I hope the interview with our CEO be of great benefit to you and other drivers who can see it.
So I'm going to skip the next one, but I'm going to go cut it a little shorter. Now that we have a bond established, tell your promotions department, of course, you got to take the opportunity. Tell your promotions department to send me a juicy guarantee and I'll drive for Lyft. All kidding aside, our viewers may get ideas. They may think I'm a Lyft shill now. So have a great day. Let's chat soon.
Oh, dear, 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 dear. Unfortunately, these are granted automatically, and they are personalized for each driver and take into account the supply and demand of trips in each area.
Did you get this sentence here, Chris? Did you get this sentence? Oh, they are
I
all
did.
personalized for each driver. Uh-huh.
Yep. Oh, trust me, I knew that right away when I saw that.
Yeah. That's the algorithmic wage discrimination right there.
Yep. So they tell you. They tell you.
Right there. It's a Freudian slip, but it's good enough.
Yeah.
And then he goes, there's not much I can do, Sergio. Have a nice rest of your day. So then, after this conversation, the layoff news hits, right? So, and then we go on, I tell him, are you outsourced or are you an actual Lyft employee? He goes, we need to keep it professional. That also answers the question that he's outsourced for sure, because this guy was super professional. And then besides that, so when I saw the layoff news, I texted the same guy. I go, Sam, were you part of the layoffs? That was the question, which I missed to take a screenshot of that. So if you go to the next one. All right. So I told the guy, I go, Sam, you're all right. Did you get laid off? Did you get fired? What's happening? He comes back, the same guy. He goes, good day, Sergio. Thanks for checking. You're very kind. Don't worry about me. How about you? Will you drive with us this weekend? I go, okay, I'm glad. Actually, we talked about this 10 days ago on Show Me the Money Club, that there's going to be, layoffs and all this stuff. Believe it, minimum fare Lyft is still $262, but I'll do some Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Walmart Spark. My time is for sale to the highest bidders as a so-called independent contractor. So it ended there. So since this has been like 5 days, I haven't contacted Sam because I didn't have a need to, but periodically I'm going to knock on his door and to see if Sam is there. Now, Mr. Risher, if this is something you just started, I loved it. I appreciated it. Like I said, I never felt I had a friend with Lyft, especially your support, which is horrible. And I don't even call support. I don't even know what I'm supposed to call these people. But long story short, thumbs up on this one. See, we say positive things about Lyft. We don't only say negative things. There you go.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely some positive things to say every once in a while. So, it's going to be interesting to see. I haven't driven in about a week and a half for Lyft. So I'm going to see if I get the same text message from from Sam also.
That's good.
And see if what happens there, or if I get somebody else. Maybe it'll be Brittany or John. Who knows? We'll see. But they just showed me something for this week, so I'm going to take it up on that.
Okay, so Cool Bear says, Sergio, all Lyft help support use name Sam. Nope, not true. Not true. Their names actually are not even legible most of the time, but let's go with that.
Yeah, most of the time they actually use probably the real names that nobody can actually pronounce. So I just usually call him Gary. And if you and I'm not talking about Gary Middleton, but if you know what was that movie? I believe it was Horrible Bosses. Yes, it was Horrible Bosses, and they had the OnStar, and the guy was obviously from India, and so he had some crazy name that you couldn't announce, and then his American name was Gary. So
no,
always a good movie.
I appreciated it. I really did. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll check back with Sam once in a while. We'll see how it goes. All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to our next topic, and that is a big issue that is happening, and that is that a lot of states and a lot of areas are looking to create legislation for driver protections. But these companies are not happy with that because that means that it's infringing on them being able to exploit workers. And if you don't believe that, that's exactly the truth. Unfortunately, it is. And they're going to go kicking and screaming like a 2-year-old when you tell them no and they want the brownie. That's exactly how these companies are acting when it comes down to these legislations. And a lot of the times people like you and I are probably going to be happy for the most part because it's going to help when it comes to false deactivations. It's going to help set up pay or minimum pay standards. It's going to set up driver protections. It could set up, pay time off, different things like that. Healthcare. There's a lot of things there when it comes to it. Sure, they're happy about Prop 22, but are they happy about the Seattle and the Washington bill? No, they just have to accept it because that's their reality. And if they want to operate in that area, that's how they have to roll the ball. That's how it came. But the rest of the country is pretty much open. Not every place, but quite a bit. So now they're really campaigning hard against drivers to try to get them on their side, saying that things like their access to the platform could be reduced or something could be a problem. So yeah.
The typical playbook, bro. It's like, let's do the scare tactics. This, by the way, is going to the passengers, not to the drivers, because I interviewed Stephanie V. Hill, who's a freshman House member in Colorado. It's on our channel. You can go watch it. She's sponsoring a bill called 2398, SB 2398. It's basically full transparency and no more unjust deactivations for all gig workers, not just rideshare. Okay. And now comes DoorDash. See, they go like, well, they're crying foul. They go, the Colorado Senate is considering a bill that would impose another tax. Look at this language. By the way, the tax that they're talking about is going to be like less than 10 cents.
They go, but they're not going to put it in there. They're going to make they're going to make it the extreme that they can, as close to the that line where they're just completely lying versus still telling part truth.
And then it says another tax on top of last year's first in the nation delivery tax. He goes, look at this paragraph, got me really well. I was laughing. He goes, with consumers already facing skyrocketing inflation, the bill would raise the cost of deliveries. DoorDash, listen, we're no dummies here. All I'm telling you is this is a bunch of hogwash. Inflation, you have raised Uber and RideShare, Lyft and RideShare, DoorDash, Uber Eats have raised the fares without sharing the wealth with the drivers since 2019, whoever wrote this at DoorDash. So let's not get into this. Now, if you disagree with me, whoever wrote this at DoorDash, please come and show me the money and tell me your numbers, okay? The fares have been going up irregardless of this bill, sir or madam, at DoorDash. So shove it, number one. And this bill, by the way, this is the language from the bill that I put in here. Mm-hmm. The bill requires a delivery network company, which is a DNC, or a transportation network company, TNC. This is exactly from the bill, Chris. Operating in the state to provide various disclosures to their drivers and to the consumers of the DNC and TNC regarding payments that a consumer makes to these companies. Now, Mr. and Mrs. DoorDash on the left, I'm back on your case now. What is wrong with this that you're objecting? When you raise the fares for the last 3 years, 4 years on the consumer, on deliveries and rideshare passengers, your excuse has always been, oh, it's the tax, oh, it's the city, oh, it's legislation. No, it's not. It's your race to profitability, people. It has nothing to do with it because you're in such horrible businesses that you have to charge as much as you can and pay as little as you can, which your algorithms are accomplishing beautifully these days, supposedly. If you're ever ordered food, people, and you see the fees on there, that has nothing to do with legislation. And if you look at the same order from the same restaurant you placed 2 years ago, the delivery fee, service charge, this fee, that fee has gone through the roof. Now, what percentage of that has been passed on to the driver? Because delivery these days have become basically working for tips. With Uber and DoorDash base minimum delivery fees down to $2 per order. DoorDash, are you watching this? On the other hand, you're charging $12. Now, one of the reasons tipping has declined is because for a burrito, the poor consumer is paying $10, $12, $15 in delivery fees, service fees, and all that. And you know what?
$20 for Starbucks.
Yeah. And they have no clue, by the way, Chris, that the driver is only getting $2 out of that 12. This bill will introduce complete transparency. So now when a customer orders food, it's going to say, oh, by the way, you're paying 12 for this in service fees and delivery fees and all that good stuff without tipping now. Oh, by the way, the driver is only going to make $3 out of the 12. You know what? They may bring back some tipping. You know what I'm saying? Because at the moment, when you pay $12, $15 for delivery and service fees on your DoorDash tab, you may think, you know, the delivery guy or gal is making good money. Well, now there's transparency. Now they're going to know that this poor driver is bringing your burrito from 4 miles away for $3. Maybe they'll tip more. So DoorDash, if you have any opposition to this, please come here. I'm right here. Show me the money. We'll have you on anytime you like.
Yeah. But that's not just DoorDash that's happening. It's also, you know, other areas. So this is vote no on Chicago's new rideshare ordinance. So
You know,
we talked about this. We talked about this recently. You know, this is going a month and a half ago, probably 8 weeks ago now or something. I think we talked about Chicago and them bringing, you know, similar type legislation to the board when it comes to, you know, driver protections and you know, different things like that. So basically, this one is a thing from the Illinois Coalition of Independent Work, which we all know is just code name for Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, and all these other companies. But this is a new ordinance could dramatically increase costs for riders and limit access to affordable transportation at a time where inflation is at a 40-year high and our economies are recovering. Wait, didn't we just read that on the DoorDash side?
You would think the same person wrote this.
I think the same person friggin' wrote it. Yeah. So right there, that just goes to show you it's these companies there. And it says the rideshare ordinance recently introduced in Chicago threatens to limit access to affordable transportation and the flexibility upon which drivers depend. No, actually, probably would help drivers. Similar ordinances in other cities have unintended effects on drivers while drastically increasing costs for riders. And they highlight Seattle's minimum pay ordinance increased prices for riders by more than 50%. But you know what? Drivers over there are loving it because they're getting paid. They're getting paid time off. You know, we just had didn't we just post the video with Walter? Yeah, we had Walter, our Seattle-based driver, our Washington-based driver, on talking about, is Seattle's model the best? And you know, here's the crazy part. There is when you talk about these companies like Uber and Lyft, they'll kind of say the other thing, like, oh, we have taken the steps in order to accomplish the legislation like Prop 22 and the thing in Seattle when it comes to the driver's side, to make it seem like, oh, they were part of it and they came to the table and they're happy about it. But in actuality, they're kicking and screaming like a 2-year-old who you said can't have the cookie.
They are. And you know, and this is another ordinance by the Alderwoman Garza, and hopefully it's going to pass. Look, man, there is a movement happening in the country. This is not just Illinois and Colorado. It's Massachusetts. It's Connecticut. It's, it's how many more states? I think 7 or 8. Nevada is joining the party. They're getting the squeeze play, legislation by legislation and state by state, city by city, and they're fighting mad. And I understand why they're doing what they're doing. I get it. But one thing that irks me in all this is when they send this they're sending this to the passengers, Chris, and to the consumer. Now, on the Colorado bill, they're opposing it because now the game is up. The consumer is going to find out that, I just got charged $15 for delivery fee without tip, and my driver only made $3. Because every time when I have rideshare, right, and I do Lyft, and I show them, because as you know, all the way through the trip, the upfront fare shows on the Lyft, right? And when the passenger sees it and he just paid 15, I made like 4, the guy goes, "Are you serious? Is this what's happening?" The Colorado bill is going to make that simple. When you're ordering your food or your rideshare, let's say you're taking a 10-mile trip for $50. Well, it's going to say you're paying 50, but your driver is getting 14.
Yep.
What's wrong with this picture?
So that's what they want to hide. That's the whole reason why, because they want to make it seem like, the drivers are getting it, because the other side, if you looked at the other side of that one screenshot, it was saying how a recent study came out that said rideshare drivers in Chicago were making $35 an hour after expenses.
Yeah, I saw that. Did you see that?
What?
Yeah.
No.
After expenses. And
here, are they trying to go to the online time again versus I'm sorry. Are they separating the times again? So you got your online versus your engaged time?
I don't know what they're doing, but let me tell you, if people were making $35 after expenses in Chicago, okay, nobody would work at a regular job for 18. Okay. Everybody would be driving rideshare. Okay. Period.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, why would you? So all this stuff is happening. They're crying, they're battling. They have their own lobbyist called Flex. I go, I get you. If you guys want to come on, more of them welcome to do so. We'll have a civil debate, and we'll send you with some parting gifts. And to me, I'm open to any kind of conversation that shows how scrupulous you people are by saying, inflation is hurting the consumer. Well, I've been raising the rates without paying the driver anyway, but now that's going to come out.
What about that's inflation has been rising. You're right.
Yeah,
but what about the drivers when you're taking and squeezing the pay? And that means drivers have to now work harder in order to still make the same that they were making, and then have to work more on top of that because of all of the inflation that's going on. You're forgetting one part of the equation there.
Yeah, but don't you know Dara said the same thing and stuff on the interview? Don't you know that the drivers are immune to inflation, Chris? We don't pay for inflation. We have nothing to do.
That's Uber. They're like, we're happy about that market because that means more drivers are available. All right. Well, let's see what RideShare will be able to do for the driver experience. Let's see if we default to Uber if we default to Lyft instead of Uber.
We're gonna find out. Yeah, but anyway, so they're fighting mad. Good for them. Keep fighting. There's a movement. And by the way, I read all the bills. If like the Colorado bill, personally, and everything I have is behind that bill. So if I need to go to Colorado and talk to legislatures or whatever, I'm game. If I
would be game too.
Yep. I am 100% behind that bill. SB 2398. Full transparency and no more unjust deactivations for less than a dime on a trip. Stop complaining, people. Please, if you're in Colorado, whoever it is, now or later, call your legislature, call Stephanie Vihil's office in support of this bill. I am 100% behind it. There you go.
You know what? Not only that, I mean, you might be watching this in the rare possibility that you're not in Colorado. And you're like, I'm in somewhere else in the country. Why can't this happen for me?
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing. You can actually take those bills, copy and paste them, and send them to your legislators. You can actually do that. And then they can craft legislation that's pretty similar if they see the need for it too. So there is that possibility where you could potentially do that. It's just a matter of, researching this. And we like talking about it because it's what's going on in the areas. and it can affect drivers differently. So this is how we want to make sure people know about that. And again, this is something not only on knowing your worth, knowing everything about it, but you can also see how they're clawing tooth and nail to try to, not let something like that pass. And it just
100%.
kind of shows you everything about it. But
shady, dirty.
yeah.
Shady.
All right.
Dirty,
But what happens now? My question to you is, what happens when these legislators, they start going and they kind of go a little bit in the wrong direction? So this is an email that I get yesterday from Uber. This is the email I get from Uber yesterday. This is saying the New York Attorney General, moron, wants to eliminate surge pricing. Double moron. Act by May 1st to tell Attorney General James to leave surge pricing alone. New York State Attorney General Letitia James has proposed a new rule that would effectively end surge pricing for New York drivers by eliminating rideshare companies like Uber's ability to surge rider pricing. While the Attorney General is focused on the impact surge pricing has on riders, she's ignoring the direct impact this has. Where is it? Hold on. This rule will have on your earnings. If Uber is unable to surge on rider trips, there will be no driver surge in New York. That is a big problem. We know surge is an incredibly important aspect of your earnings. Unfortunately, it is. It ensures you're paid extra when you step up to help riders during times of bad weather, less desirable times of the day, or during high demand events like concerts and sporting events. Yet they forgot to leave out our times, because that's when the most amount of surge is going on. And that's when the most amount of people want to be driving at night because of the surge, because you're actually making money out there. And that's why it's the most profitable time for most people. Not always, it just depends on your market. But the Attorney General, moron, is accepting comments on her proposed rule now through May 1st to tell her that your efforts will hurt the ability for you to earn and your family, to ask her to reconsider. So this is what I get from it. Then you have to actually kind of dig in a little bit more to see exactly what is going on. This is from Times Union, and it says James proposed a rule to set price gouging as above 10% guidelines to ride sharing. So basically proposing to institute a clear standard for what defines price gouging, any increase over 10% during abnormal disruptions in the market. The proposal is part of a series of rules that Attorney General's office is offering up to public comment for the next 60 days. And then this is the next part is where they're talking about the surge and dynamic pricing. And James is seeking to define price gouging for companies that use dynamic pricing, including rideshare service, based on the median price at the same time 1 week prior. And then it says the Attorney General in the rulemaking document said she considered alternative definitions based on the lowest price charged for a product in the period, or based on the highest charge prices, similar to a 2014 agreement with Uber, would lead to far too much condoned profiteering. The price gouging agreement with Uber expired in 2017. So one of the things when this comes, this is the wrong way to look at things, because this is a moron who probably got charged extra when it came to surge. They went on their app and said, why am I being charged to go from New York to Albany for $182 when it's normally $60? Well, you know what? That's because there's less drivers on the road. You know, it does deal with peak time, supply and demand. It is based around that. There are several factors that influence surge. But here's the thing. Unfortunately, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And if you start talking to drivers and see exactly what's happening, you might want to change your thought on that. And we actually have a RSG podcast that's coming out. It's the podcast version is already out if you want to listen to it. The video format is coming out on Friday. And Harry's talking with a former Uber worker, and they were talking about surge pricing, and they were talking about how really genius it is, but also, you know, trying to make it so the passenger kind of understands. And the way they talk about it, it's really interesting. So it's definitely an RSG podcast that's going to be geared for drivers. So if you want to check that out, make sure you do. But this is when people are very ill-informed, and then they make irrational decisions based on some unknown factor. So this is, to me, I think, a real problem. And if you're in New York State, you definitely want to make sure you're following this and, share your thoughts with the Attorney General, because there is a time open for 60 days. Just be familiar with this proposed rule, and see what's going to happen there. Because, yeah, when it comes down to dynamic pricing and surge pricing, that's called show me the money. And I want to know. Now, the flip side of this, I think there should be a definite issue where, yes, and I will gladly speak to James here, saying there's an issue when it comes to surge pricing and how it's calculated for the passenger and how it's calculated for the driver. And I would gladly go into that, where you can definitely take that more knowledge and figure out how to price it fairly for drivers and for consumers, where Uber and Lyft are not necessarily getting the bulk of it. Because right now, surge pricing is multiplier based when it comes to the passenger side, which means they're doing 2x, 4x, 6x, whatever it might be of the normal rate ride. But on the flip side, you're getting the flat rate surge, which we all don't really love too much. And so you might see $4.25, you might see $8, you might see $10 if you're lucky. But now with upfront earnings, you're seeing the base fare change to not necessarily reflect the amount of surge that should be added to the trip. So there is a real problem when it comes to surge, how it's calculated on the passenger side, how it's actually doled out onto the driver. So this is something where if we can work together, and I will retract my comments from earlier, Miss James, if you actually, want to sit down and talk about that. When it comes to how this is all calculated. So then, yes, you can understand a little bit more, take the knowledge, and then, create a different proposed rule at that point. And I will gladly go to Albany or wherever you're sitting in your ivory tower and talk to you about that. But that is, one of the big problems, at least in my opinion, is that you have people who may not know what they're talking about and try to create this sweeping control when it comes to things. So, the price gouging aspect of things is not just on the rideshare side. They're trying to include the rideshare side. But it's also good to know what the whole rule is. So you want to make sure you're paying attention. But yes, anybody in New York State right now, please pay attention to this. This is definitely going to have a big impact on you. And you can share your thoughts over the next 60 days when it comes to it, when it comes to, this rule change, when it comes to surge, how it's calculated, and all of that stuff. And, who knows, maybe at that point we can get something where we're all on multiplier surge again, or, it's more fairly done for what the passenger's paying to what the driver's receiving. And then maybe on top of it, it's actually in addition to the fare, to the base fare, not, calculated kind of mumble jumble altogether, where you're seeing an $8 surge on a ride that you're getting paid $15, and another ride that you're getting paid for the same distances at $15, but there's no surge. It doesn't make any sense. We've seen so many screenshots of this already, and trying to calculate all this. Surge. It seems like they're eating more in your surge than you think. So, yeah.
All right.
Rant over.
No, Red. You know what? You said pretty much everything I was going to say. I'm just going to add two things to it. When Uber needs drivers' help, see how nice they are to you, saying, please call this person and say, don't get rid of surge pricing. See, when they need your help in app, they push the notification saying, this is going to kill you. Unlike the last one saying that, oh, this is horrible. What happened to inflation?
Don't do that. Oh, we want you to do this.
Yeah. Please do this for us. Please. Yeah.
I'll stroke your hair a little bit too.
Yeah. So like, see how fun the game is, right? So when the game is played, when they need the driver, they go, please call the Attorney General and say, this is a horrible idea, because Chris hit on all 3 points.
I will gladly take a 4-hour drive from Buffalo to Albany, and I will sit down and I will talk with you. I have no problem doing that.
I come with you, because honestly, I don't think she knows. But this is the problem. When people who don't drive and don't know and start writing laws that interfere with business of everybody, and I'm not an Uber lover, I got that. But Uber's panicking because they charge 4x on the back end, pay the driver nothing. Okay, that's going to go away. they have minimum wage rules in New York City in the 5 boroughs, Chris. Because if they cannot charge Surge 3-4x on the back end and pay the driver peanuts, because they're also looking out for that minimum that they're stuck with, I think it's $25 an hour. So if there's anybody in New York City in the 5 boroughs driving, contact me. I want to learn more about that. So they're stuck. Now they're going to take that huge take rate, that they created with this new upfront algo. When the surge is high, base is low, no surge, base is high, that game that they play, right? Which we saw some of the negative earnings with Surge. So if Surge was really in addition to Uber and was really helping the driver, I don't think you'd be crying like this. I think you'd be saying, oh, no, Surge is a horrible thing. We just want to get rid of it. But you guys know you charge the customer up to you-know-what and then pay the driver down to you-know-what. That's why you guys are complaining and need your driver's help. So,
You know what? Chris Taylor is the person that Harry's interviewing on Friday. He puts it together really well when it comes.
Knack
comes
is
down
going
to
to be on our
how
show, bro. That's Knack.
Yeah.
Knack is going to be on our show.
Oh, nice. Yeah, but he broke it down really well when it came to it. And he made it. There's a short that's going to come out, and I think if you want to talk with riders who are complaining about Surge or something like that, you could use that same type of terminology, and they might look at it a little bit different when it comes down to it. So definitely watch that one, that RideShare Guy podcast coming out Friday. It's pretty good, and it's definitely with Chris Taylor, who worked at Uber. And it was really interesting, at least when I was watching that. So
I asked Knack to come on because I think he can a lot of us, including me, can benefit from what he's going to say. Because we have some preconceived ideas. This guy was one of the first 50 hires at Uber in the Travis days. Now, he's still biased. I have Twitter wars with him here and there. But lately, he's been laying off. I've been laying off because I want him to come on. And he agreed to come on sometime in May. And the Knack, we're going to have it. We're going to go at it. But no, he's a super smart guy. He was at Uber for years. He's doing his own thing now. And he will be able to educate a lot of drivers who have misconceptions and ideas that are wrong, that in the technology world don't exist. So it's going to be a good one.
Megan wrote, it's 4 hours. It's not 4 hours, it's 6 hours. One, not the way I drive. It definitely is 4 hours. I can make it from here to Bronx in 5.5. And that's quite a bit further. So yeah, trust me, I've done the Bronx trip plenty of times. I've gone out in Massachusetts. It's definitely a 4-hour trip for me.
Yeah. But so you said everything, and I'm not sure where it's gonna go, but Uber, New York City is a huge market for Uber, like huge. Okay. And if they do this, no more Surge, and they have the minimum that they pay to the driver, they take rate in New York City is going to absolutely collapse. Stock will actually get hit.
Oh yeah. Well, not only that, but in Buffalo, bars are open till 4 a.m. You go to Rochester, it's 2 a.m. I think Syracuse is like 1 or 2 a.m. But Buffalo and the surrounding area, it's 4 a.m. So you have a lot of fun. You're getting out there, you're getting drunk, you're having fun. If that Surge goes away, and trust me, it's bleeding red from like 11 to almost 5. Because everybody's going from bar to bar, they're going home, they're going back out, they're wherever they're going, and then you have the big rush around like probably about 2 to about 4:30 is the big rush, and that's when Surge is like lighting up the entire city of Buffalo. But you take that away, I am not going to drive at that time. There's no, I wouldn't get I wouldn't get paid. So the unintended
for base rate, why would you pick up a drunk for base rate?
Hell no. I got to deal with the passengers who are drunk off their asses. No. You know what? It's worth it when I'm getting extra amount of money. But when it's not coming in, there's no way I'm going to take it, because to me, it ain't worth it. But on top of that, the other thing is, if you have less Uber drivers and Lyft drivers on the road, that means more people are going to resort to driving. And that means things like DWI and DUIs and accidents and deaths. Things like that are going to go up, and you're going to have an unintended consequence of that happening in the event that Uber and Lyft drivers do not want to drive at night because they don't want to deal with that.
I agree. And you know what? Lastly, this may bring some light on the games that this new algo is playing with the Surge pricing. As you know, as everybody knows, Surge was in addition to the fare. Now it's all bundled in. Maybe this will put some light on that issue. You know what I'm saying? Like surge goes up, base goes down, surge goes down, base goes up. I'm like, well, I'll play this game. Let's just go back to the way we were. That's because this UFT is so all right, it's all good. We'll follow.
You know what,
this
Attorney General, Ms. James, you know what I'll do? I will actually, I will copy the Washington law and send it to you and say, you know what, this is a better opportunity for you.
I volunteer. Yeah. All right.
Oh no. I know what the rule change is. It's not. I'm not misrepresenting it. Basically, what they're trying to do is, yes, parts of it are good because they're capping certain like things where it's an issue when it comes to hyperinflation and things like that. But when it comes to surge pricing and dynamic pricing, no, that's a different issue. And that's going to be based on real time. That's also going to be based on driver demand. Rider demand, driver supply. It's going to be based on weather. It's going to be based on time. There's going to be a lot of things there. And if they cap it or even are, trying to get rid of it or something like that, then that's going to be an issue when it comes down to it. So I'm not opposed to the part where it's going to limit parts where, your eggs are going up $18 for a freaking 12-pack. No, I'm not complaining about that side of things. I'm complaining and talking about the rideshare aspect. So let's make sure we're on the same page there.
Yeah, Yabayo, is it Yabayu? Email me, Sergio at RideShareGuy.com, especially if you're a New York City driver. I want to talk about this a little bit more and educate myself, but we know what we're talking about here. It's, the subway closures and hurricanes and things like that. Uber actually does take care of those surges anyway, even if the passenger pays those ridiculous surge fares and then they get credited back. But like Chris said, who the heck is going to pick your drunk ass up right about to throw up in my car for base fare? Not happening.
Hell no. Hell no. Ain't gonna happen.
No.
I'll switch to the daytime. Actually, I've been driving more day than night anyways, mostly because with the kids and that, and then sleeping and just all that. So it's definitely different because trying to have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old wake up at 7:30 in the 7:30 in the morning when you'd be like 2 hours worth of sleep. It's not as fun. So yeah, I've been doing more daytime than nighttime anyways.
Jeff goes, I will. Yeah, sure, of course. I saw the pictures of your car without the drunk guy. So we're gonna talk about that next week.
All right. Well, let's move on. We will definitely keep you updated on these different legislations. Again, New York, pay attention to that, look into that, and then share your thoughts when it comes to the dynamic pricing, because that is where it's definitely going to have an effect on you as an Uber or Lyft driver. But
all right,
one of the things that I think most of us are going to answer probably pretty similarly, and the article did a pretty good job, is why do Uber drivers rate their passengers poorly?
I've had many GTFO moments in my driving life and 1 stars, because to me personally, I'm just going to give my personal opinion and then you guys take this wherever you want. To me, you cannot eat in my car, period. It's not going to happen. Nope. I don't give a shit what you're eating. Even if it's in a bag, your face is in the bag, it's not going to happen. It smells bad. I don't want it. Number 1, you can definitely not smoke in my car. That's 2. Or vape in my car. Okay, that's 2.
Definitely can't drink either.
When you walk in my car, you set the precedence for your rating you're about to get. You're walking in my car. Maybe I'm too old world. You say good morning or hello to me first. I don't have to say it to you because you're coming in my car. And the second you walk in, you ask me for an aux cord, your rating just went down. Guaranteed it went down. So I don't have too many things that I go against. Or if I'm picking you at the beach, if you're covered in sand, you get in my car like that, you're going to get it. You're going to just get it, the 1 star, and get out of here. So there are small things that I pay to. A lot of things I let it go. I even let go ladies in the morning going to work, doing some makeup in the back seat. All right, no problem. I got you. Don't worry about it. As long as you're careful, whatever, because there are people.
Yeah, and you don't get that lipstick or makeup on the seats or anything.
Well, I'm taking a chance, but I'm just giving good service at that moment. Saying she's late, obviously, whatever. So, but certain things I cannot do. Do I pick up I absolutely, when I'm at LAX, I absolutely pick up their luggage and put it in my trunk because guarantee you they're going to scratch the crap out of your bumper because they're not going to pay any attention. They're going to just lug it up there. I'm like, no, I'll get out. Even looks like good service. I'll pick it up, put it in my trunk so my bumper has no scratch marks on it.
You know what you need? You need the bumper guard. You need that nice rubber bumper guard, so then you don't have to get out of the car. They can just do it in, and you got all of it nice protected. You're all good to go.
Yeah, man. And then, to me, those are like small pet peeves I have. And, I'm an easy guy. I'll let you do pretty much anything you want, but up to a certain degree. And then, that's it. But yes, I probably had like 8 or 9 total disasters. GTFO, open the door, out, 1 stars, maybe 7 or 8 in my 10,000 trips. So, it's not, look, man, 99% of the passengers are pretty cool. It's that 1% idiot that gives it a bad name. You know what I mean? So I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I agreed. Yeah. If, for the most part, people, for me at least, they're going to get 5 stars because it's annoying to rate and then have to, just to be able to continue on, press all those freaking buttons. So it's just like, it's easier because then you don't have to be like, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. Anything like that. But yeah, there are definitely reasons on why. And food, if you're going to act like an asshole to me or something like that, these types of things, that's definitely going to do it. If I'm annoyed at the person before you, I try not to take it out on them. I try to like woosah it out, and I'm trying to be a little bit better there. But at first I may come off a little standoffish, but I don't hold it against that next person. But like if they're doing something that it's just no bueno, then that's going to be.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know what? I mean, I think this is pretty. This could be a really problem for late night drivers, which I don't do anymore. I mean, different crowd, bar crowd, bodily fluids, all kinds of shit can happen. I'm like, that's why I don't do it, because the pay is not enough. The pay is not commensurate to my risk I'm taking. So just that's a good idea.
Absolutely.
Right there. Yeah. But give us Sergio at RideShareGuy.com. Send me some or put it in the comments now. Slamming the doors. You know what? I agree with that. Yeah.
Yep.
Like just go in and slamming, come in slamming. I'm like, bro, just like okay. All right. What else, guys? Yeah, I agree with pretty much all. Slam door jumping overseas. Another thing I hate about drivers, about passengers.
I'll tip you in the app for sure.
But do you know the ones that walk in, like, you pull them to the right side, their house is on the left side, right? They walk across the street, they come sit right behind you. I hate that. I freaking hate that. And I always tell them, there's more room on the other side. Why don't you go sit there, because safety, but there are these idiots that just come sit right behind you. I'll go like, bro, just go sit over there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That or the people who you got one person that you're picking up and they want to sit in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
Like right next to you. No, just sit in the back, dude.
Yeah, sit in the back, bro. Yeah, I'm not your friend. Just go back to bed. Yeah, okay, Jeff, we know what happened. I don't know about that comment of yours. Lyft is pretty stingy, or Uber is pretty stingy to put out those 150s these days, because a lot of passengers have gotten into the media complaining that, the fraud, the drivers sent pictures and they charged me 150, but I didn't even do anything. I'm like, the companies are being very stingy. Yeah, 3 stars. You know what? That's the other thing I don't do, Chris. We're not in freaking high school. I don't do, I don't. What's the difference between 4 and 5? I don't know. Star. I mean, I go 1 or 5, bro, because that's like 5 is the norm. When I give you the 1 as a passenger, by the way, you're gonna immediately figure out if you care about your rating, because I'm gonna crash your rating, bro. Okay, I guarantee. If you do like 1 Uber a month, and I give you a 1 star, I'm going to drop you to like 420s. And the next guy's not going to pick you up. That's one. The second thing is, if you give me a retaliatory 1, once you figure that I gave you a 1, because I have to rate you first, obviously, it won't bother me. My rating won't even drop a 10th, because I'm doing out of 500 ratings. To me, it's a pretty good exchange, actually. Actually, in the old days, we used to be able to go into the app and change our rating. Uber stopped that. I used to hammer people like that. I would like, hold on, and then bang. 2 days later, I go, we'll give him a 1 star.
Okay, so get one of the most annoying riders I ever had. Absolutely annoying. Like one of the absolute worst. Like I couldn't wait until she got the F out of my car. She wanted me to rate her while she was waiting in my car so she could see me rate her. I'm like, and I played it off. I'm like, oh, I already did. Even though I didn't even end the trip at that point because I know that game. So I made it look like I'm like, I already did. Have a good day. And then right when she got out, 1 star by. Oh my God.
Crazy,
But that's the other thing too. Like for the most part, ask for the next week, 20 trips, 50 trips, whatever you work for the next week, ask your low rated passengers if it takes them longer to get rides than the higher rated passengers. Because I've had that conversation with quite a few riders already. They're like, I don't understand. My rating's low, blah, 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 whatever. And it takes me longer to get a ride. But yet my friend over here has a good rating and they get a ride right away. And it's like, well, yeah, you probably
that's the whole idea, bonehead. Yeah, that's the whole idea. And you know what? It's and passengers, look, there are some passengers who literally use Uber or Lyft every day. I'm serious. I've had passengers coming to Lyft tells you how many trips this passenger had, and how many years they've been on the platform. One time I picked up this girl, she had 2,700 Lyft trips. I'm like, jeez, you have more trips than I do, man. So
Lyft loves her.
Lyft loves her. But no, my thing is, 1 star, 5 star. Okay. The GTFO happens very
That's
rarely.
actually where I am. I do the one star.
We're not in high school. Yeah, it's like, and the most important thing though, I honestly I believed in this. Most passengers don't even know what their rating is. Sometimes they go, how do you look at that? They go like, because here's my deal. At LAX, I pick up a lot of 440s, 450s. A lot. I may be the only one. Do you know why? Because as soon as they get in my car, I immediately know that passenger is from the East Coast for sure. Either Philly, New York, one of those cities that the drivers are brutal on these passengers. They hammer them, bro. And then the guy would get in my car, like he goes, nobody picked me up. He goes, thanks for picking me up. I go, are you from New York? He goes, yeah, how did you know? I go, look at your rating, it's 445. And those would be the nicest people.
That or you'd be like, yo, I could hear your accent, man.
Yeah, those would be nicest people too. They tip and but New York drivers hammer these people, bro. Like I go, all right.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. So
it's kind of funny, but either way, yes. Continue sharing your thoughts on why you would rate a passenger lower in the comments. And then if you're watching the replay on this, just put it in the comments what you think or what you do and what your rating you're going to give out to. Go Bills. Love it.
Go Bills.
So yeah, let us know. But between that time, what we're going to do before we go on to our next subject, we want you to win some money. So we have our next way to win some money, and that is you have to enter hashtag SMTEMC for Show Me the Money Club.
Lowercase.
So hashtag SMTEMC, just as you see it right there. We are going to end our show with the winner on that. We have a couple more things that we're going to be talking about today when it comes down to the topics. So make sure you put in hashtag SMTEMC and you could win yourself $25. Not only that, this is a great pause opportunity to remind you, if you're just coming in right now and you went a little bit above and beyond this last month when it comes to April and you're a driver and you went above and beyond, and a little different, you could submit your story to Sergio at sergio@therideshareguy.com. Share your story, share your screenshots of what had happened when it comes to it, and you could be the possible April recipient of the Show Me the Extra Mile Sunshine Award. So make sure you get those in. We are almost done wrapping up with April. We've got only a few more days left. April is a shorter month, I think, right? Yeah. 30 days, I think, this month. So we got 5 days, 4.5 at this point now. So yeah, make sure you get those in.
Comes with $100 plus an article plus an interview on our channel. Now, come on, man. All right, so send me some stuff. Send me some materials to send it to Sunshine, man. He's dying over there. But
all right. Well, Either way, let's move on and talk about another rideshare company out there.
Oh,
And
can we also mention Gary's apps one more time, if you don't mind? Or do you
sure,
want to do it at the end? At the end?
you can, go ahead, do it now.
Okay, so we had, for you who are late, I don't know how many are watching now, but for later as well, we have the link in the show notes. Gary Middleton Technologies. He has 3 apps. I love all 3. Otherwise, we wouldn't have him on. There's a link in the show notes. Please go to his website, check it out. It's literally cheaper than a lousy burger, bro. It's $4.99 a month, which is for safety. Number one. Most importantly, it's gonna make you an automatic cherry picker. You're gonna join the Jeff from Florida. He started the CPU, Cherry Pickers United. That's our new union now, CPU baby, Cherry Pickers United. So please go check it out. Link in the show notes.
Just to answer another question, Jay, no, I have not done that video yet. There's been a couple of other videos that have been made that are, in the pipeline, but that will be coming for the difference between UberX and XL. So stay tuned for that. That will be coming. But I know I continue to say it. It's one of those things that it's kind of like there's some other focus on other videos when it comes to RSG first, but that will be coming. Don't worry about that. And yeah, I'll have plenty of screenshots when it comes to both XL and X rides and kind of the difference.
SMTEMSA people, let's go. $25, free money.
Yep. And you have pretty much till the end of the show to be able to get your entry in. We got 191 people watching, so I see 33 entries. All you got to do, hashtag SMTMC right in the chat, hit enter. You're entered, and you could be a recipient of $25. So
what kind of world do we live in? Nobody wants free money, Chris. I don't get it.
I don't know. I mean, you can't give it away, can you?
All 200 of you should be typing SMTMC. All 200 of you should be typing SMTMC. Yes, Brian, does Chris know your story? We get like 8,000 stories. Most of them I forward to Chris, but Chris in the background, then I'm in the foreground. I get all the, stuff. Brian sent me an email and we're trying to work on it, but you're not alone, Brian. I can assure you that. But so there you go.
Yeah.
All
right. Let us move on. Is there a new possible rideshare company that could potentially throw Uber and Lyft, but a different sort? So,
okay, hashtag SMTMC people. Hashtag, not just SMTMC. Hashtag SMTMC, please.
Yeah, hashtag. Yeah. You could only enter one. So if you want to spam the chat, you're only getting one entry. Just so you know.
Lowercase, Brandon. Lowercase. All right. So this is Wridz. Sunshine Man, are you watching? This just opened in South Carolina. In actually Myrtle Beach. No, seriously, bro. This is something really to consider. Sunshine Man, if you're here, please do this. At least do an article or come on the show, tell us about it. You'll make more money. So look, let's not kill too much time on this. This is another subscription-based rideshare company. Okay? There is Empower. There were a couple before that came and went. The driver keeps 100% of the proceeds. Again and again and again, we highlight these companies when they seem real, but this company is absolutely spreading throughout the country. If you go to their website, wridz.com, you will see all the cities they're in. I checked, they're not in LA, unfortunately, so I cannot test this, but I want somebody to do this to see how many trips they're going to get. Because
they're not in New York yet either.
Yeah, man, because the problem with these companies is, I swear to God, we can create Sergio's and Chris's rideshare tomorrow. We will get like 100,000 drivers to sign up. Now, how do we forget the passengers is the problem in this game? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
you need the market share of passengers.
We have Gary write an app for us, Chris. We can start a rideshare company tomorrow. Seriously, it's simple as that.
Yep.
But how do we acquire the passenger? What's my difference between, Uber, Lyft? And how am I going to undercut them? Where am I going to find my passengers? Because it's the same pickup point A, drop off point B. They're not doing like much different things. There, see that answers that killed me right there. That finishes the segment. Next one.
That's that. Yeah. Well, either way,
you know who that is, right? That's one of our Chicago brothers who's famous now.
Oh, well, you know what? Here's the other thing, people. I am going to be in Chicago
Boom.
starting Cinco de Mayo for Cinco de Mayo weekend. So
check
if
out.
anybody wants to do a meetup and we can run the test, I'm actually going to bring my my true camera, and then we'll do screen recordings so we can show all the phones lined up together, and then also the screen recordings. So if anybody wants to get together in Chicago, let me know. We could do a meetup and we can kind of do that. We're going to do it. I'd like to do it on both Uber and Lyft. So get hold of me, Chris at therideshareguy.com, or even Sergio at therideshareguy.com. He'll just forward me the email.
There you go. So please email me. I'll forward it to Chris. So 30. Okay, hold on. $100 monthly subscription fee, and this is on average, but it depends on what city. Sometimes they have sales to get drivers onboarded, right? And the onboarding process is pretty much the same as Uber's. You have to pay for your own background check, which is $30, and $25 onboarding kit. This seems like this would be, by the way, the major difference between Wridz and Empower does not provide you with period 2 and 3 liability insurance. Wridz does, just like Uber.
Ooh, so see that now? That's a good thing right there.
Yeah, they do, right? So number one. Number two, there is a drug test. So the background check is not as wishy-washy as checkers at Uber and Lyft. These people are putting on like qualified drivers on the street, man, right? Safe people. And
now, wait, hold on. I got a question here.
Yeah.
What defines a positive drug test? Because I swear
I don't know.
Marijuana is legal in New York State.
Yes, that's true.
Just saying. I mean, it's been for a while. Just saying. And I'm
you notice they're not in LA, or I mean California and New York, because they're both legal here. LA, marijuana.
I don't think that's stopping them, but
I don't know. I don't know.
No, it's not national right now. They're expanding though into different markets. But the biggest thing, Wridz, Empower, any company that wants to get into rideshare. Hey, I would love to get into another company. I would love to have 3, 4, 5 in my back pocket. But the problem is, it's about getting the passengers involved on your platform. So that's the primary concern. I don't think you would have an issue signing up drivers left or right. I think you'd be fine signing up drivers left and right. The problem is it's getting the passengers, because again, we talked about Uber being the Kleenex of rideshare. They're really well known. Then you have Lyft. They're very well known. How do you break through and offer something different? That's something that you got to do when it comes to the uniqueness of it. If you want to bring me on as a consultant, there are ideas that I have. Again, Chris at therideshareguy.com. We can talk.
It's always pitching,
hey, my time goes to the highest bidder. And if people want to bring me on as a consultant,
that's my man right there. So anyway, check it out in your city. Please go to their website, check it out. If it's in your city, give it a shot for a month. It's month to month. There is no long-term contract or anything like that. Now, what I thought is, if they were in California or LA specifically, I was going to put like recycler ads or ads online and stuff like that, and create my own little, because I have commercial insurance, right? So I don't have to worry about that. Create my own client base. You know how a lot of people say I do private trips and stuff. This would be perfect. Put your private client on Wridz app, because there's a
100%, 100%.
Yeah. And then collect the whole fee.
Have to. But either way, again, that's I don't want to give everything away for free for some of these companies, because they got to stand out. So consulting, Sergio and Chris are both consultants. If you would like, just saying, for these companies, we are available if you'd like. So Empower, Wridz,
no, not Empower.
Some of these other companies. Sergio and Chris's rideshare, apparently.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, let's move on, because we're definitely running long. So let's move on. Let us go to our very wonderful and amazing professor friend, Professor Len Sherman. I don't think he's a doctor, is he? If he is, then
he's a professor. And
so either way, Professor Len Sherman. We definitely have to have him back on to the show at least sometime soon. But
because
he had sent an email.
Yeah. I love Professor Sherman. I wish I was a student, I mean, he runs tests in his classroom about these ride sharing companies or on-demand apps and things like that. He's got all MBA students, so obviously he's an amazing man. Anyway, we had him on the show. We're going to have him again. So quickly, once the Dara's PR / whatever campaign came out on the Wall Street Journal by Pritika Rana, which we were in as well. But Professor have been very vocal lately. He sends me like email every other day. He goes, Serge, have you seen this one? I go, yes, sir, I have. He's like hot now. He's really hot. So I'm just going to go read it as it is. He goes, I got a chance to listen to some more segments of your latest SMTEMSA podcast. He's a fan, obviously, including where you polled Chris and Jay on reactions to Dara's, Dara's undercover driving routine. Another podcast host asked for my reactions to the same question. So he did a podcast on his own, obviously. So thought you might get a few yucks from my response. The Wall Street Journal article was a preposterous PR stunt. Well, how do you really feel about it, Professor? Take your pick from how best to interpret what Dara and his PR stooges cooked up. This is a professor, okay? So he business professor. He uses Uber Lyft quite a bit too. There are 3 choices and you get only one to pick. All right. Uber's product managers are completely incompetent and for the past 5 years have been spinning their wheels, allowing shoddy systems to languish for no good reason. Or, number 2, Uber has highly competent product managers, no, but drivers weren't a priority for Dara, who completely ignored them. Or, number 3, so we'll ask you this, which one is it? But we know it's just being facetious here. Dara is possessed with divine insight, and after signing up for a few undercover rides, he alone was able to identify and recommend targeted fixes to problems that even his highly competent team missed. Well, he didn't fix the problems he discovered, but that's besides the point. Of course, Uber PR hacks would have you choose door number 3, which is complete BS. There is absolutely nothing in what Dara discovered that hasn't been widely known and reported on for years. Frankly, it strikes me as near Trumpian delusion. So Dara is clearly on a dealer charm offensive, trying to put lipstick on a pig. For example, last month, he jetted off to Ukraine to commune with his brave drivers who continue to serve customers at great personal peril. If you check out the tweet Dara sent crowing about his valiant journey to Ukraine, the comment section is filled with angry driver comments, of course, there, trolling Uber about their outrage. Okay, I can see. Can you take that Win25 sting off? Okay, outrage over lousy pay, deceptive business practices, and unwarranted terminations. In fact, Uber with an U, German U, negative responses are triggered by every tweet Dara has sent over the past few years. He is truly reviled in the U.S. driver community. Well, it continues. So Dara can fly to Ukraine for a photo app or arrange for a Wall Street Journal photo op of Dara sitting in his Model Y in the company's parking lot. Dara can't and won't hold a town hall with representative groups of U.S. drivers, which of course would be more genuine and a way to gather insight. Dara and his PR minions are control freaks who can't handle the truth. I can't resist adding one more tidbit that speaks to my genuine awe of Dara's PR skill in buffing Ubers and his own images. In what may be the greatest humble brag of all time, Dara shared with Wall Street Journal reporter Pritika Rana the story that he couldn't sleep on nights before he had to drive the next day for fear of losing his perfect 5-star rating. Bullshit. And so on one ride with the passenger aboard, when his phone lit up with colleagues frantically trying to reach the CEO with news that Uber's system had been hacked, Dave K, illegal, refused to pick up, remaining focused and safely completing his ride without distraction. What a 5-star guy. What a CEO. Keep on trucking. You're probably watching this, Len. I mean, I'm telling you, you know, we made you. I think we made you like in I think 3 or 4 different segments. We put up your letters with your permission, of course. You know. By the way, this was sent to Pritika as well. So Pritika was quiet. She didn't say anything about this one. You know, I don't blame her, man. You know, if I got the thing, I would have done it too. So it's like, I'm like, you gotta once in a while do these things. Unlike Mr. Risher, who's refusing our humble, you know, little show here. Come on now. But anyway, so yeah, that's Professor.
We'll keep it. We'll keep it business happy. Don't worry.
I know. No, they're not gonna do it, Chris. I haven't given up.
Oh, I know.
I have given up.
I know. Unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Unfortunately.
Maybe, you know what? They'll do it with Harry, I'm sure. So
maybe. All right. Either way, we have, you know, a couple more topics we're going to be talking about. Get your hashtag SMTMC in.
Yes.
We currently have right now 55 entries with 166
more.
people watching. You know, you got a pretty good chance if you're at 55 number, but if you didn't enter at all, you're definitely not going to win. Nope. So you might want to. But either way, we got a couple other things to go over real quick. Some good things. We got a couple of pictures that Sergio you could talk about, and then some funnies that we'll get into, and then we'll be ending the show real quick.
All right. So this is our Jeff and Jeff, my 2 favorite Jeffs on the planet. One from Florida, and the other one is the Sunshine Man on the left with the RideShare Guy hat, because the other Jeff's hat didn't make it in time, Harry. Anyway. And, you know, they were the Sunshine Man from South Carolina was vacationing in Florida. They met, they had lunch, they had a wonderful time. They joked. They probably joked about me, and it's okay. It's all right. And then, you know, they had a wonderful time. On the left, I thought you would put this one with the 0 on, Chris. On the left, we'll have an amazing interview coming up with Donnie Disco. Okay, this is real. This is not photoshopped. Okay, are you guys watching this? Are you guys seeing these numbers? This guy has 10,000.
100%. 100% acceptance rate. 0% cancellation.
This guy has 10,000.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. You know, he promised to buy us crab legs if we go to Biloxi. Eh?
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah. So
Donnie's a good guy. I've known him for quite a few years, actually.
I wrote a great article. I interviewed him. I don't know where the article is going to go, because honestly, at this moment, I've given up all hope on the other side of the situation. But the interview is going to come out shortly, in a couple of weeks, probably. What an amazing gentleman. Okay, I make fun of these people who accept 100% this, 100% that. But man, the guy has a story, and he makes it work for himself. So leave him alone when the video comes out. Refrain from hate comments. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Oh no, it's definitely a good guy. So that'll be
beat you, Sunshine Man. You couldn't make it to 100, huh? You know why he's 100,
yeah.
Sunshine Man? Huh? He's on auto accept. That's why. Huh?
Yeah, you got to turn on your auto accept.
Yeah, Jeff. Yeah, this one is the antidote for the Uber lube. You know, I saw this. I couldn't resist. This is what happens when they give you $10 surge, and then the fare drops to $1.50 for a 10-mile trip. This is what they're using on you people, so be careful. Don't fall for it. Don't bend over in the shower. This is Uber lube right here. But on
Uber,
the right,
you gotta buy me dinner before.
Yeah, you gotta kiss me first. And then on the right, we have the complete opposite of Donnie Disco. This gentleman made it to 0% acceptance rate.
That is a challenge within itself. For those who are just listening right now. The trips that came through were 11,000. This is between March 10th and April 9th. 11,490 trip requests came through. He only accepted 110 of those accepted requests and denied 11,380, which means they weren't worth it.
So, but you know, mathematically, he's not at 0%, right? He's at 0.7%.
Oh, well, yeah, it rounds down.
He's less than 1. That's why they put up the 0. Congrats, sir. Do not take the Uber Loop drivers. We don't mess with this stuff. This is real shit. Now, look at this. Okay, look at this dichotomy, right? You have one driver, 100% acceptance, 0% cancellation. And this guy has 0% acceptance. They both make it work for themselves. So stop bitching and moaning and do what works for you. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Now we have one last story, and this is This is, I think something we were warning about for a little while, but
We
you know,
did.
they must have been watching.
We did.
And they're just like, you know what? Screw it. We're just gonna make it. We're gonna make it happen. We're
make it
gonna
happen.
make the sex mobile.
That's all yours, buddy. Because
Oh, it's all mine. Okay.
yeah, that's one's yours. Because this is
Yeah.
like
So
this is modern trend, people. This is not bullshit. This is modern trend. Okay, so you know it's not okay. There you go. There
I
you
don't
go.
know. I mean, is this is Chat GBT?
No,
Like
it's
written
man,
article or
come on,
something.
man.
Either way. So yeah, so this is on Motor Trend, and it's a self-driving sex pleasure sexapod. There's not enough Lysol in the world, and I would agree with that 100%. Although, you know what? Like, I want to know what the insides are. Is it like all just like pure
Mirrors.
rubber? Something that's like
Mirrors on
completely
the ceiling.
100% hydrophobic? And then
Mirrors
how
on
do
the
they
ceiling.
clean in between? Do you have somebody who's like standing in the front and then waits until it comes out, or do they have like these high-powered jets that like just spray down everything and then it just opens the doors and just lets the water out and then it just dries itself or something? I really don't know, but yeah. So apparently this is something we never thought, and neither did Motor Trend. But yeah, here it is. This is an entertainment website, Camsoda, upcoming self-driving vehicle robotaxi, creating an autonomous vehicle that will be the Sexla. No joke, right there. Anyway, each Sexla vehicle operated is theoretically equipped with a 4K screen with a live stream of a cam model that interacts with the passenger during the trip. Each vehicle is allegedly stocked with what we'll just call accessories for the experience. Riders would pay for each trip in a similar way that they would for any other taxi. As far as how the vehicle looks, renderings of the concept sent along with the pitch reveals it looks like a rebranded Zoox robotaxi. I think that is, but it literally looks like someone just ripped some images off the Zoox website and
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they sure did. Yeah. But this is look, this is going to happen, like it or not, right? Do you agree this is going to happen? When these things come around, don't you think people are going to try? Of course they are.
What was that? Was it Total Recall? I believe it was. Yeah, I think it was Total Recall. The movie where like they went into this minefield, and you didn't know what was real, what was fake. You put on these goggles, and then you could have whatever fun you wanted with, and you had these sensors and these pods and everything. But yeah, like I remember they were walking down the aisle in the one. He was trying to get his memory like re-chipped or figured out or something to see if he was really in this false narrative or whatnot. And they show a couple of people where a guy he's sitting in there, and then it shows a hologram of a stripper, and it's like, this is exactly where it's going. This is just the beginning. Like soon you're going to see like places where they're just going to have a robotaxi take you there, and then it's cheaper because they can house it all in house.
This is cheaper than Motel 6. You call one and do what you need to do in there, and then get the heck out. For the next guy, it happens. Whatever happens, happens. So I have this paragraph at the end caught my eye. It goes, either way, all the Lysol in the world, the most powerful pressure washer money could buy, and a 100-layer hazmat suit couldn't get us to sit in one of these things. I agree. But this is going to happen. You guys want autonomous vehicles. This is going to happen. So get used to it. You know what?
Yeah.
Go rate this. Go rate this driver. Oh, wait a minute. There's no driver. Yeah. Go ahead.
Whether actually, I think next week we have a couple of fun little things regarding some of these robotaxis and self-driving vehicles. Did you put it in for next week's show?
Not yet.
Okay, well, put it in because you want to laugh. We got a couple of things that's really funny when it comes down to some of these robotaxis and self-driving vehicles in Phoenix going on. Whether you call it a success or not, I am going to say that it is not a success so far. But hey, it's still early. Either way, all right. We're nearing the end of our show. We still have our giveaway to go. We have 61 entries currently at the present moment.
That's
Enter hashtag SMTMC in order to be entered or entered. It's getting late. Come on. And you could win $25. Why not? We will give you just a couple more minute, 30 seconds in order to be able to do that. And then, yeah.
Toilet brush is funny, bro. Toilet brush goes, I would ask for the blonde car. No, the blonde doesn't come with the car, toilet brush. You have to provide your own blonde. Oh, there goes Norma. Yeah, we're taking Norma's money, giving it back to you. So that's what we're doing.
Pretty much, yeah.
What do you mean you disagree,
Either way.
Jeff? You don't disagree at all. Okay, the next winner will be the Uber Loop. So we're gonna
Work on that
Uber
format. What are you talking about? We have the format. We have the happy end. You got to go in the
have
emoji.
everything. We have everything.
We already
on this
got it.
show. we
got
have
the
full
happy
menu,
end.
Jeff. We have the full menu. Come on.
All you got to do, because you're the member, all you got to do, and all members can do this. You go to your reaction, that little add reaction, the little smiley face there. Click on that, and you're going to see the custom emojis right there.
Yeah.
No, it's not the happy end. Well, I mean the truck, yes, but we have the happy end. That's what we call it. So it's called
You have
happy
that
end.
one? Okay. And
Yeah.
and Jeff is gonna
And
be
he's a
on
happy
video
little
coming
ant.
up. When is Jeff videos coming out? Do you know? It's before May, right? Jeff's yeah, on the behind the wheel stories. He has a great story behind the wheel. So that's our Jeff right there. The other Jeff, not the
That
other.
is coming soon. There you go. Yeah, you got the happy end right there. So we got the happy end, yes,
Yeah.
as the emoji.
All right, let's
All
go.
right. But we have 65 entries. That
All
is where we're at. And now we are going to see who is our winner. Dun, dun, dun,
Oh,
dun,
I gotta write this down.
dun. They got to
I
play
gotta write
music
this
or
down.
something. Come on. Jared Brush, congratulations. You are the winner of $25. Woo, 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 woo. We need some like sound effects or
Hold on.
something we could play.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing,
no, I
I
can't
was
play any of those.
expecting to have the opening with what's his name music today. Gabe's.
Oh
story.
no, I didn't get. That did not get to.
No?
I didn't get that done yet. I didn't get that
Okay.
cut. I've been doing a lot of other stuff when it comes to.
Okay,
to
Jared
things,
Brush, just email me to Sergio at RideShareGuy.com. I think you emailed me anyway with your whole spreadsheet. I love that spreadsheet, by the way. But you know, you're doing a lot of work. You're entering like ride by ride, which is awesome. But I will get back to you on that because that's a lot of information for me to absorb amongst 700 other emails I have that I have to get back to. But great work, buddy. Okay, so email me, please. A separate email, not that one, separate thread, so I can send you your money. So yeah, that's it.
All right. And with that being said, it is Tuesday. It is Show Me the Money Club. We will see you next week. Do we have anything
Everybody
good
in
for
the
him coming
pool.
next week?
Huh?
What's up?
No, we're on
I said,
our
do we
own.
hit-
We're on our own.
Ah, nice. All right, cool. Well, we're going to have some good stuff coming next week. So we will see you next week. Tomorrow is him and Zach's show, Money Hungry, talking about food delivery, last mile delivery, some good stuff there. Make sure you do that. And also, definitely make sure to watch Harry's podcast this week. You can get it right now, actually. If you want to go listen to it, you can go to rideshareguy.com and check it out.
Yeah.
It is there. But the other thing you can do is wait until Friday for the actual video to come out. Definitely going to be a good one for you. So make sure you hit that. It will be out 9:30 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. With that being
Everybody in the pool now. Everybody in the pool. Let's go.
said. All right. Have a good night, everybody. See ya.
Have a good one, guys.